Rebreathers are often seen as like highly technical diving machines, but can you learn to dive on one straight out of the gate? Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel and welcome to Ask Mark, our scuba diving Q&A, where I, Mark, a former dive instructor, do my best to answer your scuba diving questions. So if you do have any questions, pop them down in the comment section underneath this video, use this Ask Mark hashtag in your question, and then I'll type out an answer as soon as I see it. I do miss some, so the community does an awesome job of helping people out when I miss them, so thank you everyone for doing that. But yeah, today I'm answering a question from Notorious about whether you can start or when can you start learning to dive on a rebreather. So Notorious says, hi Mark, love your interesting videos. Thank you, keep it up, I will. Is it okay to get into rebreather diving after advanced open water certification, or do some technical training and technical diving first and then move to rebreathers? What recreational rebreathers are available in the market? Funnily enough, there was a big push, or there was a push, a few years ago, a few years ago now, to get entry-level divers, like first ever course on rebreathers instead of open circuit. Open circuit, normal second stage that most divers use, blows bubbles. Closed circuit or semi-closed is a rebreather. And yeah, there was kind of a push. It was mainly down to the Hollis Explorer rebreather, which I don't think they make anymore. They like introduced it as like an entry level rebreather. I had someone describe it as Tomy's first rebreather because they color coded things. It was very easy to get to use, green to green and red to red and all that kind of stuff, and it was nice and simple to use, and you didn't learn the bad habits. I say bad habits, but the habits that you get with open circuit. With open circuit, for example, you inhale, you float, you exhale, you sink, or at least your buoyancy changes. With a rebreather, that doesn't happen because you have counter lungs, so you exhale and it just gets passed around the loop. And yeah, I'd been diving, when I dived my first rebreather, a few years of open circuit, and you get used to it. And then I had it was a Poseidon Mark 6, I think it was my first rebreather. And yeah, doesn't matter. You can really inhale and really exhale. Your buoyancy isn't going to change because the volume isn't changing in your overall system because you've got counter lungs. So you don't learn those kind of bad habits, if that makes sense. You might find, I mean, you're going to be taught all the basics in your like rebreather course. The rebreather course itself is specific to each individual unit. So it's not just the rebreather course and then you can dive any rebreather. You have to do specific courses on each particular unit, just because they're all slightly different. They all have their little idiosyncrasies, and you're taught how to use it. You might find the theory a little bit more advanced. Well, it will be more advanced than what you've learned so far. The Nitrox course would be a good like introduction into it, but I don't really see why you couldn't just do it straight. Yeah, they were planning on, and I imagine they taught a few students straight out of the gate. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about signing up for a rebreather course. They even had like entry-level logbooks. The Paddy like intro, the first logbook that you get that has all the like training dives in it. They added like diluent levels and what that in your logbook so that you could mark all those kind of things down. So they were trying to push divers down that. It's a hard sell because you're going from someone who's never been diving before, you're paying for the course, and then you can like gradually like invest in the equipment. You buy your mask and fins, and then you buy like a wetsuit and then a BCD and maybe your regulators and a computer, and it's like little bits over time. Whereas with a rebreather, you buy the unit which is like thousands. So it can be quite expensive, or that like initial capital investment is quite high if you're buying a complete unit. And then if you want to switch to another one, then yeah, you've got this really expensive thing. So it was a nice kind of attempt, but I don't really see it happening. However, yes, yeah, you certainly can go into rebreathers, especially in your situation. As far as units themselves, then you don't really have like recreational rebreathers, they're just rebreathers. You get semi-closed rebreathers, you get closed circuit rebreathers, and then you get like automatic closed circuit and manual ones. Which one you go for is really what you need it. They're a tool for a job. Semi-closed is the closest to like a recreational rebreather. Yeah, I was trained on the Hollis Explorer. There's I think it's Mares XR Horizon. It looks very Revo because Mares XR, or Revo, is now part of the Mares family. So I think Revo kind of built it, and then Mares put their name on it and whatnot. I imagine there was a lot of integration in there and everything, but yeah, it looks like a Revo rebreather just with a Mares badge on it. But yeah, it's a Mares XR. It's a semi-closed rebreather, similar to the Hollis Explorer that I learnt. And yeah, you just have a single cylinder of nitrox, and you have the breathing loop and the counter lungs at the back. You also have some scrubber in the back, which is cleaning out all the carbon dioxide, because when you exhale, it goes around one tube down to the back to one counter lung. It then gets passed through the scrubber to scrub out all the carbon dioxide. It then gets passed over some sensors to see how much oxygen is in that exhaled gas. It then tops it up in a semi-closed rebreather's case with some nitrox, and then it gets passed back round to you and you just breathe it. And the whole cycle just repeats. With nitrox, you get a lot of like extra gas volume, so it does vent from time to time, whereas a closed circuit rebreather has two separate cylinders on the back, one of diluent and one of pure oxygen. And if it's just using 100% oxygen, or near enough to 100%, it just tops it up with a very small amount of gas volume. But when you need extra gas volume to fill your lungs, it adds it with diluent, so you get that actual volume. And you don't get nearly as many bubbles, but they're both a tool for a job. And yeah, I was aim towards the unit that you think you're going to end up with, if that makes sense. So think about the type of diving that you want to do and have research into those kind of units. Find the units that you're really interested in, and then find an instructor who's qualified to teach that unit. That was another problem with learning or teaching rebreather straight out of the gate. Any instructor, there's always an exception to every rule, but any instructor out there should be able to teach open circuit, but a very few niche will be able to teach rebreathers, and you get your instructor ticket on that one particular unit. So you then have to do like another instructor course to teach a separate unit and get the hours and all of that. So you've got to find an instructor who can teach that one particular unit. Have a chat with them, make sure it's the right unit for you. They might be able to recommend some others, but yeah, that's really the best way to do it. So yeah, have a look around, see what units are out there. Don't worry about like recreational rebreathers or whatever. Just find a rebreather that suits the type of diving that you want to move into, and then take it from there. Yeah, I remember all the big like hoo-ha Struth 10 years ago or something, about trying to get entry-level divers into rebreathers, and I tried that push myself. I worked out that, yeah, because that particular unit I think was about $5,000 to invest in, and I worked out that, yeah, if you buy a complete twin set with wing and backplate and regulators and all that kind of stuff, it's similar priced, but yeah, all that investment is quite tough for like entry level. And the course itself, was really simple. You learn about the gas physics and laws and things and partial pressures, which you will learn about in like your nitrox course, but you can learn about it in the Rebreather course. How the unit works, you spend some time pulling it apart, learning all the different parts and what all they do. There is an exam, or at least there was an exam with the last time I did one, and yeah, then you do some chilled out dives, and then you run through different skills like bailout and all that kind of stuff, because you always tend to bring some open circuit because it's just as tough as nails open circuit. And yeah, then you're qualified. Any other questions, by all means pop them down in the comment section underneath this video. Remember to use this @smart hashtag in your comments to get it featured. It might even end up in our magazine. Otherwise, head over to our website, scubadivermag.com. Check out all our different social media channels, because we're in different social media places nowadays. And of course, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.